Maharaj Ki. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to the program for Sri Advaita Acharya's appearance day this year. And we're just so fortunate to have here His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Swami Maharaj, and Haribol,
Haribol,
and His Holiness Janananda Swami Maharaj, Haribol. Yes, so what we'll do basically, we'll to some degree play it a little bit by ear, but I was ordered by somebody, anyway, probably the authorities, to say a few words, just a few words about who is Advaita Acharya, what is his position, and like that. And then His Holiness Janananda Maharaj is going to talk about some pastimes of Advaita Acharya. There's quite a few pastimes. And then His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Swami Narasimha Swami Maharaj will fill in the gaps, or just take it as it comes. And then Arati will be 12:30 or thereabouts. Yeah, and then prasadam will be served. Right, so I'll begin by reading some verses, make a few comments, but mainly reading some verses from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 6, the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. First of all, some prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravadi Pucharne Nirla Vishnesha Shunyavadi Pastichade Shatarne Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vajkav Trivius Chakri Pasidudya Evacha, Patitana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Right, so, Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 6, the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. First of all, let us read verse 1. Vande tam Srimad Advaita Charyam Adbhuta Cheshtitam Yasya Prasadad Agyopi Tat Swarupam Nirupayet. Translation: I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya, whose activities are all wonderful. By his mercy, even a foolish person can describe his characteristics. Yes, so Advaita Acharya, first of all, let me just mention, Advaita Acharya, of course, is a member of the Panchatattva, right in the middle. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakti Vrinda. And first of all, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then Lord Nityananda is his first expansion. Lord Balaram, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Lahiyanya, Balaram, Hoilo, Nitai. And then Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of a devotee. A little different position. Incarnation of a devotee. Then Gadadhar, of course, is the internal potency. And Srivas is a devotee. So in very simple terms, that's their positions. And Advaita Acharya is right there in the middle as the incarnation of the devotee. How that works, anyway, in due course we'll mention something about that. So let me just repeat the translation of this first verse because it's really nice. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Acharya, whose activities are all wonderful. By his mercy, even a foolish person can describe his characteristics. That's very relevant, isn't it? Particularly in relation to myself. Anyway, I'll say a few words, but like I think I mentioned, more than anything, I'll just read from Caitanya Charitamrita. So next I'll read verse 5 from that same chapter 6. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamshanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Advaitacharyam Ashraye. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. So he's called Advaita, Advaita. Dvaita means two. But he is, two. But he is Advaita. That prefix A means that he is not. He is not two, he is one, in other words. He is actually the Supreme Lord. He is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore he's called Advaita. And because he preaches, he propagates the cult of devotional service, he's called Acharya. More will be said about that, but basically, before Lord Caitanya appeared, Advaita Acharya appeared like a generation before. And seeing the terribly degraded situation of the world, and what to speak of the whole world, but even of Navadvip, very sacred place, like a traditional sacred place, one of many in India, and a place which was a center of learning, and not just learning in a broad sense, but a place of Vaishnav learning. Special Vaishnav scholars were there. It was famous for that. Yes, so, but he saw, Advaita Acharya saw that the whole situation is extremely unfortunate. Even though there were many scholars, learned people, and I say learned people like Vedic learned people, but in terms of Vaishnavas at that time, there was a great shortage. Rather, generally speaking, those scholars, they were more on the impersonal side at that time. And that was very disappointing to Advaita Acharya. And as a result, he felt that, what can I do? In fact, he had tried to preach, but his efforts were not well received by those scholars, those kind of impersonal type scholars and others, mental speculators. So he was there, and he gathered a group of devotees around him, and they would meet every day and have kirtan, and he would talk about Krishna to the devotees. That's what he did. And as far as going out and trying to present Krishna consciousness, he wasn't doing so much of that. More focusing with the devotees in his place, which, if you've been to Mayapur, you would know, he had two places. One place was just by the house of Lord Caitanya, just up the road, 100 meters or so, right next door to the house of Gadadhar Pandit. That was one place. And then there was another place, which was in Shantipur, which, if you've been to the Mayapur area, you've probably been to Shantipur. It's some distance away, I don't know, 20, 30 kilometers or something. Takes a bit of a while to get there. But particularly there, right in Mayapur itself, where his house is, or was, there's just a small place now, just a little temple and a little shrine. But there in Shantipur, there's a whole establishment where he used to live, and a few places connected with pastimes he had, like that. Yeah. So he's the Lord in the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. And therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, therefore I take shelter of him. So now, this chapter 6 of the Adi Leela of Caitanya Charitamrita, begins by discussing Advaita Acharya's position, particularly, or first of all, in terms of his functions as a form of the Lord, Advaita, not different from the Lord. And there's a number of verses. Let us just continue reading a few of these very nice verses. This is now verse 4 from the chapter 6. Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Srijatyada Tasyavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara. Translation: Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. So that's first point in identifying the position of the Advaita Acharya. However, there's more to it than that, which we'll see over the next several verses or thereabouts. It's not exactly that he's just simply Mahavishnu, and that's that, he's Mahavishnu. There's some subtlety there. So we read verse 5, that was verse 4 just now. Now verse 7. Mahavishnu Srishti Karena Jagad Adi Acarya Tanra Avatara Sakshad Advaita Acharya. Mahavishnu performs all the functions for the creation of the universes. Sri Advaita Acharya is his direct incarnation. Next we'll read together verses 14 and 15, which give a little more detail, a little more specific understanding. So, verses 14 and 15. Maya yaiche dui angsa, nimita upadana, maya nimita hetu, upadana pradana. Purusha Ishvara Aiche, Dvimurti Haiya, Vishvasrishti Kare Nimita, Upadana Lana. Now listen to this, devotees. It's a little subtle, and anyway, listen. Translation. Just as the external energy consists of two parts, the efficient cause, nimitta, and the material cause, upadan, maya being the efficient cause, and pradan, the material cause, so Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, assumes two forms to create the material world with the efficient and material causes. Yeah, so it's going to be explained basically as we go on. Well, let's just read verse 16. Apane Purusha Vishvir Nimita Karana Advaita Rupe Upadana Hana Narayana. Lord Vishnu himself is the efficient or nimitta cause of the material world, and Narayan, in the form of Sri Advaita, is the material cause. So what does this mean? The terminology may be a little difficult to really get our heads around, but the idea is that Lord Vishnu, means Mahavishnu, is the efficient cause in that, of the material world. In that he glances. If you're familiar a bit with Brahma Samhita, there's the description there of Mahavishnu glancing over the pradhan, which means the inert, inactive material energy. It's sort of in a latent state, waiting to be activated so the material creation can take place. So Lord Vishnu himself, by glancing, is the efficient cause, like the effective cause. That's the idea, nimitta. And Narayan, in the form of Sri Advaita is the material cause, upadan. It means, well, we just read, it was, what was it? It was 14 and 15. Pradhan is the material cause. Now we don't want to confuse anyone or get too technical about things, but we just mentioned, if you recall, 2 minutes ago, Mahavishnu glances over the inert, inactive material nature. In that state it's called pradhan. Means earth, water, fire, air and ether, the modes of nature, and all the various other things that make up the material world. They're all there, but they're all mixed up together. That's pradhan. So, in a sense, it's like a big soup. Like a big soup when it's finished, when it's been cooked. And particularly like a big soup where the cook cooked it and cooked it and cooked it. In the beginning there were veggies, there was water, some ghee, some spices. They all got mixed up together, and then they got cooked and cooked and cooked and cooked, and in this case, cooked to the point that you cannot recognize. Where's the vegetables? Where's the spices? It's just all a big, you know what they say, primordial soup. Our friends, the scientists. But then Mahavishnu glances. So that pradhan, which is the source of the material world, that's Mahavishnu. Or he is overseeing it at least. And then Mahavishnu glances, and then all the different ingredients separate. They all separate. Just like if you've ever made a movie of someone doing something, like cooking a soup, for example, from the beginning, where all the ingredients, etc., are there, right through to the end where you get the soup, which is all just mixed up together. But then if you play it backwards, right? You play it backwards. You begin with the soup, everything's mixed together, and because you're playing it backwards, at the end you've got all the ingredients, the different vegetables, and the water, etc., etc. So that's what happens. The Lord glances, Mahavishnu glances, and then the pradhan, this mixture of all the material, everything that goes into the material world, all the things separate, and then then the universes come out of the pores of Mahavishnu, and all the ingredients are placed in all the universes. A certain amount of earth, a certain amount of water, fire, air, ether, the modes. Are you with me, or have I bewildered you? Have I successfully bewildered you? So anyway, So Advaita Acharya, he is the material cause, the pradhan, or he oversees the pradhan, the material nature, when everything's mixed together and all the component parts need to be extracted so the actual creation can take place. So that's that in a nutshell, fairly small nutshell. That's Advaita Acharya. And verse 17, Nimitam she kareteno mayate ikshana upadana advaita karena brahmanda srijana. Lord Vishnu, in his efficient aspect, glances over the material nature, and Sri Advaita as the material cause, like just the material nature, or overseeing it, creates the material world. And finally, at least in this regard, verse 20, Advaita Rupe Kare Shakti, Advaita Rupe Kare Shakti Sancharana, Ataeva Advaita Hayem Mukhya Karana. In the form of Advaita, he infuses the material ingredients with creative energy. Therefore, Advaita is the original cause of creation. You know, he's not exactly the Pradhan, the material nature. He's overseeing it. So, he then, overseeing all these material elements and the ingredients for the creation, he infuses them with creative energy. And then, you know, I'm going to actually hand over to Janananda Maharaj.
You've got another 7 minutes.
Another 7 minutes. Well, not really, because there's 3 of us.
So 30 minutes each.
30 minutes.
You've got till 11:30. Till 11:30.
Me? Till 11:30? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right. So let me just mention a little then about Advaita Acharya as a preacher, as an Acharya. And this is also described in the same 6th chapter. It's very definitive, this 6th chapter. So let's just read a few verses here. Am I shouting too loud? I tend to shout. So now we go on. This is now verse 27, and there's a series of verses in Caitanya Charitamrita. This is 27. Purva yaiche kaila sarva vishvirasrijana avatari kaila ebe bhakti pravartana. As he had formerly created all the universes, now he descended to introduce the path of bhakti. I'll just read the translations. 28. He delivered all living beings by offering the gift of Krishna Bhakti. He explained the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in the light of devotional service. Since he has no other occupation than to teach devotional service, his name is Advaita Acharya. He is the spiritual master of all devotees and is the most revered personality in the world. By a combination of these two names, his name is Advaita Acharya. Then just in terms of like sort of definition or clarification of who he is, what his position is, we can refer to Caitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada, in the same 6th chapter, says the following. This is 6th chapter, verse 79. In the Vayu Purana, there's a description of Sadashiva in one of the Vaikuntha planets. That Sadashiva is a direct expansion of Lord Krishna's form for pastimes. It is said that Sadashiva, Lord Shambhu, is an expansion from the Sadashiva in the Vaikuntha planets, who is Lord Vishnu. That's chapter 6, verse 79. But in Adi Lila, chapter 17, verse 301, it says, Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Sadashiva from the spiritual world. Gaura Ganadesh Dipika also says this. So he's a combined incarnation of Mahavishnu, or sort of part of Mahavishnu. That particular part which deals with the material nature once it's been activated and made functional. But he's also Lord Shiva, Sadashiva. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what do you expect? He's a somewhat complex personality. We're sort of complex enough, aren't we? Sometimes. Sometimes we don't really know what we're doing. We wonder. Sometimes we do something stupid and we wonder, how did I do that? Because there's complexity within us. I want to speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Advaita Acharya, along with being part of Lord Mahavishnu, he's also Lord Shiva, or Sadashiva, who is like the original, one of the original forms of Lord Shiva. So yes, so we mentioned that Advaita Acharya, he had tried to preach, but he was not really getting much response. And therefore he felt, it's kind of pointless me continuing like this. I'll just get together with the devotees, those who are already devotees. But what we need to do is call for Krishna himself to appear, because he's the only one who can help these unfortunate, confused people who think they're very intelligent and they know Shastra and all that sort of thing, and they don't need advice from anyone else. Sorry, I've gone 30 seconds over.
30 seconds, Maharaj. Who's the time man? You have to keep your eye on me.
Okay.
I'm the biggest culprit.
So we hand over to His Holiness Janananda Maharaj. Shri Advaita Acharya Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuram militam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Caitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutane Shvayam Rupagadhamayam Darati Svapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvasesha Samyavadi Paschachadesha Tarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyeva, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Maharaj. And finished off on some interesting points which leads in. I've been ordered by the ordered to speak on a section of Advaita Acharya's, you could say, personality. And Maharaj spoke mostly on the tattva, and he didn't order me, but he told me that I'm supposed to speak on some pastimes. The word pastime is very interesting. It usually refers to that which has happened. But the interesting thing about spiritual pastimes is it's not like they're over and gone, like in history. They are eternal. And a pastime is a present time. So when we hear about Sri Advaita Acharya and his, as Maharaj said, rather hard to understand his behavior, not just his identity, but sometimes his behavior is very hard to, for ordinary people to grasp. And we've heard a little bit about that because he's not a schizophrenic, although he's two personalities, you could say, in one. Completely not. But he has various aspects to his interactions or his pastimes, all perfectly harmonious with the mission of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. As Maharaj briefly began to mention one of the most famous pastimes in regards to Advaita Acharya. So my first question is, can anybody hear me? Yes. Are you sure you can understand? They call it slang in this country. My slang. I get so many comments that my slang is hard to understand. Now, use the word slang in English. It means a little different than what you mean. It's like vulgar language almost. You understand the word vulgar? It's not very nice language, like bad language. But it is normally pronunciation is the more sophisticated word, you could say. So I do apologize if my slang is a little hard for those, especially those from Klang, has a difficulty with my slang. If you're from Klang, you'll have a lot of difficulty with my slang. And if you're from KL, you'll probably also have. But anyway, we'll plow ahead. So what to say? Glorious day, and wonderful to see so many devotees here. I didn't expect. It's a working day, I believe, for most of you. Some of you are students, and some of you are devotees, so you don't work. Like these guys here, lazy people. But it's the best use of our time to hear about the glories of the Lord and His devotees. So we just heard that Advaita Acharya is in the mood of a devotee, serving the mission of Lord Caitanya. So it's the most purifying thing to hear about them. It really is. We talk about parties. We had a cake cutting ceremony last night. But the real birthdays are the appearances and the tirubhas of the great personalities who come into this world for a moment and leave this unlimited mercy for all of us to lick up or to absorb, or to digest, whatever it is, but to get. So Advaita Acharya is not an ordinary personality, as we've heard, by any means. He is the Supreme Lord, and he's acting in this role. So let's have a little look. Today is his appearance day. Is that right? Shri Advaita Acharya ki jai! His appearance is obviously not like an ordinary person. To understand his appearance a little bit, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one does not have to take birth again in this world. Isn't it? What happens? You don't take birth, where'd you go? Finished. It's all over. Nirvana. What happens? You go back to the spiritual world, right? So it's pretty important to hear about his birth, I think. Although it may not be so easy to understand. Maharaj has already touched upon his unique identity a little bit. So let's look a little bit on that side, his relationship, let's say, with Lord Shiva. And once upon a time, in Kuala Lumpur, no, not in Kuala Lumpur, in Kailash, Lord Shiva has a very confidential associate. His name is Kuvera. Kuvera is a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He's also an important member of the demigods, especially if you want some money. He's quite rich. And so Kuvera was Lord Shiva was very pleased with Kuvera. So he said, please ask for some boon, what would you like? What can I give you? And so he asked for something very difficult. This happens on and off. He asked for this boon, please, my Lord, will you please take birth as my son? He wanted Lord Shiva as his son. So Lord Shiva agreed in his future that he would become the son of his devotee, Kuvera. So later on, Kuvera appeared in this world prior, of course, way before Lord Caitanya appeared. And he appeared in this world, and lo and behold, his name was Kuvera Pandit, and his wife was Namadevi. So they were great devotees of the Lord, and also with Lord Shiva. They were great devotees. But they were very, very disturbed. They wanted to give up their lives. Namadevi is, of course, an expansion of none other than Lord Shiva's own consort, basically. And so they wanted to give up their lives because they heard Vaishnava blasphemy. Vaishnava blasphemy. As you know, that's one of the first things we do. We give up our lives if we hear Vaishnava blasphemy. Prabhupada didn't recommend it, by the way. Rather, he recommended first thing to cut out the tongue, and if you can't do that, you leave. If you can't give up your body, then you're supposed to leave the place. So they felt like giving up their body when they heard this blasphemy. So they were very distraught. That night they had a dream, both of them. And they saw in their dream two very amazingly effulgent personalities holding hands and conversing with each other. And they were discussing about the future. And one was saying to the other that I want you to appear very soon in this world. And I will come very, very much later. I want you to set the scene for my appearance in this world. Very effulgent personalities talking about how to rectify the situation of this age. So sure enough, when they woke up, they both saw they had the same dream, and they became elated. And very shortly, Nalada in her womb, she became pregnant. Actually, she saw one of those personalities enter her womb. So she became very elated. And Kuvera Pandit also saw the same thing. So they were very, very excited. So she became pregnant, and time passed by. Then after some time, of course, she gave birth to an effulgent son. So effulgent, not like the sun in the sky, but a child who was also so effulgent that everybody came to see him. Who is this child? He was so beautiful. They called him Kamalaksha, one who has beautiful lotus-like eyes. Mangala, he was bringing auspiciousness to the whole world. So he received these names. Mangala, we've already heard his name, Advaita and Acarya. But he had these names as well. And everyone was astonished by the beauty of this child. And this was Advaita Acarya, later to become Advaita Acarya. We don't have much time. We'll move on now to another incident or more pastimes of Advaita Acharya's appearance in this world. He did appear in this world quite a long time before Lord Caitanya. According to the Acharyas, Lord Caitanya appeared in 14... Which year? 86. Someone in the audience? Which year did Lord Caitanya appear? Come on. From the audience, please. Come on, you should know when Lord Caitanya appeared. Which year? In the Gregorian calendar. Come on, boys and girls. What have you learned? You know when you were born? Which is more important? Lord Caitanya's appearance or your appearance? They're both important. We don't know when Lord Caitanya... Come on, you must know. 86. 1486. And Advaita Acharya appeared before that. Many of Lord Caitanya's associates appeared a long time before. Do you know when he appeared? According to the Acharyas, 1434. Work that one out. How many years? Get your calculators out, quick. 86, 34. 86 minus 34 equals? Never went to school. That's why you're all here. Huh? Oh, well done. Someone's a mathematics expert. 52. 52 years before Lord Caitanya, give or take a little bit. So he was fairly senior. 52 years senior. You see Advaita Acharya in Jagannath Puri? Lord Caitanya selected 4 main dancers at Rath Yatra. The dancer was a very important person in Rath Yatra. He wasn't a mad man who was like prancing around like an idiot. The dancers were like setting the whole scene for the kirtan. His whole mood, everything boom, dancing according to the heartbeat of Lord Caitanya. And one of those dancers, now this, don't forget, this is when Lord Caitanya is already, in his 30s, if you look at it from a relative perspective. So Advaita Acharya will be in his 80s. And he was chosen as chief dancer. And you'll think, I'm too old to dance. I'm 50. I'm 30 years old. I can't dance. I've got a back problem. He was over 80. Of course, he's not an ordinary living entity. And Haridas Thakur was over 70. They were both very senior. But, in Krishna consciousness, no such thing as, too old, too young, too this, too that. The holy name just takes one off the platform of any relativity whatsoever. So he was extraordinary in Lord Caitanya's pastimes. One of the most extraordinary things Maharaj did touch on, if time allowed he would have delved into it deeply and deeply, but it's a pastime, isn't it? Of how, as ordered, let's say, in their conversation, of the two personalities who appeared in the dream of Kuvera Pandit, that they're kind of come in this world for a special mission. So Advaita Acharya has a special mission. he calls upon the Lord, both on his appearance and his disappearance from this world. Advaita Acharya was the instrument for the external. We know there were internal reasons. The external reason for the Lord's appearance in this world, Advaita Acharya and his external departure were caused in one sense by Advaita Acharya. He called him in and then he sent him back. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world, as we know, by the loud calls of Advaita Acharya, right? I remember in what year, I don't know, it must have been about 2005 in Vrindavan. At that time I was staying mostly in Vrindavan, and during Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj's tenure maybe it's a little after that, I can't remember, 2005 or 6, when he was the wonderful temple president of Vrindavan Temple, Krishna. And we used to do these dramas on Gopurni at Mangalarti. I don't know if any of you ever attended them. At Mangalarti we do a drama. Straight after the announcements, whoever, Raja Bihari or Janard Maharaj, whoever was making the announcement, unknown to everyone, he would say like, today we'd like to welcome so-and-so from Dubai, so-and-so from Sydney, so-and-so from New York, and blah, blah, blah. And we'd also like to welcome a very special personality here today in Vrindavan. And everyone's wondering, who's that? Today we'd like to welcome Advaita Acharya. And I would come in dressed up as Advaita Acharya with a wig and no one knew who I was. Absolutely nobody. I come in completely, everything, completely dressed in white, everything is Advaita Acharya. And look, what on earth is going on here? The whole audience, like 1,000 devotees, Mangalarti on Gopurnima, packed. And it's like, right, what's happening? So we would just burst into a drama, of Advaita Acharya like that. And this was one of them. Of course, that's like 19 years ago. I just quickly tried to read it again. I have my memory 19 years ago. I've done it a few times, not much. But that drama was one extraordinary drama. It was so blissful. And it really set the scene for an ecstatic Gaur Purnima. Because Advaita Acharya came, my Lord, please come. So as we heard a little bit, Advaita Acharya was very disturbed because there were so many, non-devotees, and even in Navadvip of all places, who were even giving disturbance to the devotees. They were disturbing the devotees. Advaita Acharya was fasting. He was so disturbed. What are we going to do about this? My name, Advaita Singha, has no meaning unless I'm able to call the Lord of Vaikuntha to appear in this world. He was very disturbed. At the same time, Srivas Thakur, Shuklambar, Gangadas, and others, they were gathered in Srivas's house, and they were having kirtan before Lord Chaitanya appeared. All this is going on. So in the house of Srivas, they're having loud kirtan. Most of the smarta Brahmins and the local residents were being very disturbed because at that time, the local Nawab, the Muslim king, was on a bit of a rampage. And the Hindus were worried. Oh my goodness, if you carry on like this, he may kill us all or whatever. We'll be in trouble. Our whole village will be destroyed. Srivas Thakur is such a troublemaker. We get that today on Sankirtan sometimes in some places, right? You're troublemakers! Get out of here! In France we get that sometimes. The police come and herd us off. You remember in London, Rahmat Maharaj, all of us were together in London. We used to get arrested almost every day in the jail, tried out again. It was like disturbance of the peace, obstruction. So Srivas Thakur, he was disturbing the peace. Because of you, our lives are threatened. If you don't stop this, we're going to throw you out of the village and throw your house into the Ganga. We'll drive you out of our village. This came to the notice of none other than Advaita Acharya. What did Advaita do? Oh no! Oh, what are we going to do? He wasn't like that at all. He became furious. Furious. He immediately went to the house of Srivas Thakur. Srivas! Shukamba! Gangadas! I vow that if I am not able to bring the Lord of my heart into this world, I will assume my four-armed form, and with my disc I will sever the heads of all of these rascals. He became quite worked up. He was on a mission. So then he decided what to do. He came down a little bit and decided, so how on earth are we going to bring the Lord into this world? How are we going to do it? What did he do? Huh? Yes. He petitioned the Lord over and over again, worshipping Shalagram Shiva, offering Ganga Jal and Tulsi, and calling the Lord to please appear in this world. If you don't appear in this world, there is no hope for the people. Now, what to speak of today? They were Brahmins in Navadvip, they were learned scholars, they were smarter Brahmins, they were worshipping demigods. Okay, it's all Maya, you could say. But what to speak of today? The world's condition is unbelievable. Maharaj talked about Acharya. When Prabhupada gave lecture, I don't know what year, on later Acharya's appearance, he just briefly mentioned what Advaita meant in one line and what Acharya meant in one line. Then the rest of the lecture was all about becoming an Acharya. That we should all become Acharya. And Acharya is one who takes the message and spreads that message. It's not some kind of unapproachable terminology. Every one of us should be that Acharya. Small, big, it's not a question of quantity, it's a question of what we are, what we're doing, our attitude. To become an Acharya. So right from the beginning he was in this mood, how to save everyone from this terrible situation. Preaching has much more to it, but that was the basic thing with Advaita Acharya. We petitioned the Lord like anything like this, calling on the Lord to please appear in this world. We'll move on because time is very short. We've only got 10 minutes left. I'd love to tell other pastimes. I think Narasimha Maharaj will tell other sweet pastimes. I'll just tell one more pastime. It's very interesting. Advaita Acharya, by the way, married pretty late. According to the Caitanya Bhagavad, he was about 50 years old when he married. And he had 6 children. You can read this in Caitanya Charitamrita also. 3 of them were not devotees. They became like smarter Brahmins. 3 of them, headed by Chutananda, were great devotees. But Advaita Acharya, because he was so senior to Lord Chaitanya by age and other factors involved, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally decided to appear, of course, Advaita Acharya, he was appealing at that time. He was crying out for the Lord to appear. And Haridas Thakur, who was also staying in that area of Shantipur at that time too, they both appeared. Then when the Lord appeared in this world, Advaita gave great charity and so on and so forth. But all the time, Lord Chaitanya was respecting Advaita Acharya, like his senior, almost like his grandfather or something. He was really looking up to him. And Advaita Acharya, in the mood of a devotee, could you imagine if your worshipable Lord is always, we heard this problem the other day, Tattva Prabhu expressed this the other day. Where's Tattva Prabhu? A wonderful Vaishnava. How he was, his good wife, Shanti, is she here? There she is. Was expressing how Tattva Prabhu was afraid to go near the Narasimha Maharaj. You heard that, Maharaj? Why? Who remembers why? Why? They've always naturally want to offer respect to Narasimha Maharaj. Who on earth wouldn't? I can't imagine. But it's dangerous because no matter who you are, he immediately bows down to you. It's unbelievable humility. And he's afraid that Maharaj will bow down to him. So, in that sort of a way, Advaita Acharya was just, oh no, he's always, touching my feet, offering me respect, this, that, and the other. And it was almost intolerable. So he devised a plan, which wasn't difficult for him, in a sense, being who he is. He devised a plan to preach Mayavad philosophy. He thought, I've got to make the Lord chastise me. We don't always like to be chastised, do we? How many of you love chastisement? Hands up if you love being chastised. Anybody? You know what chastisement means? What does it mean, Gora? Someone getting on your case, right? No matter what they're doing it for, as far as we're concerned, why are they getting on my case? So Advaita Acharya really wanted Lord Caitanya to get on his case. He wanted to, no, it's really my Lord. I just want to, be in that relationship, serving the mission of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So he started to preach Mayavadi. Now please don't do this. Don't try to imitate. We don't imitate Advaita. We follow the mood of always acting in a way to enhance or please Lord Chaitanya. So he started to preach this Mayavadi. It came to the attention of Lord Chaitanya, because Advaita Acharya was at a distance, whether he was in his house in Navadvipa or in Shantipur, I can't remember or know. But he was at a distance. So Lord Chaitanya happened to be with Lord Nityananda at that time. He was still in Navadvipa, so he wasn't a sannyasi at that time. So then, and when Lord Chaitanya heard this, of course he became enraged. He became furious. What is this nonsense? What is he doing now? And so he went off with Lord Nityananda in a rage to the house of Advaita Acharya, who was sat there gleefully rocking and preaching Mayavad to the assembly. Jnana, and all kinds of other philosophies and doctrines other than devotion. Lord Chaitanya stormed into the room. What is this? What is this? You are calling me into this world? I was sleeping very comfortably. I'll read it. Let's make it more exciting, shall we? Rumbling with anger, the Lord said, Nada! Nada! Tell me, which is superior? Speculative knowledge or devotional service? Advaita replied, speculative knowledge is always superior. For what is the use of devotional service if a person is devoid of impersonal knowledge? As soon as these words entered his ears, Lord Chaitanya became inflamed and forgot his surroundings. He pulled Advaita down from his asana and dragged him out onto the patio. Like he pulled him out there. It's a good drama, this one. There he threw him down to the ground and struck him repeatedly. Whew. I don't know what would happen in today's society. Some of the things we hear from Caitanya Leela would not go down well in today's society. We're so spoiled. Advaita's wife, Sita Devi, is the universal mother and knows all these confidential topics. Yet she could not restrain herself from trying to stop the Lord. Just like Parvati tried to stop Lord Shiva when he was about to destroy the universe. Stop! Stop! She cried. He's just an old Brahmin. An old Brahmin. For whose benefit do you chastise him so heavily? He's so old, he may not survive your harsh behavior, and you will find it difficult to avoid the consequences of your own actions. In other words, you'll be responsible for killing a Brahmana. Whew. We heard that last night, our friend Madhu Mangal. Nityananda smiled at her words, and Haridas Thakur repeated Krishna's name in great fear. What's going to happen? Chaitanya was so angry that he did not even hear Sita Devi's words. He didn't even hear them. Roaring like angry thunder, he spoke to Advaita. I was greatly relaxing on the milk ocean, and you interrupted my sleep, calling me to attend to your work. You engineer the propagation of devotional service, yet now you audaciously obscure the devotional process with your circumventory explanation of impersonalism. If you had already made up your mind to surreptitiously broadcast your speculative theories, then why did you take the trouble of revealing me to the world? I did not disregard your desire and wishes. but you have deceived me in all respects. Just like last night when we were hearing about the Sun Panchami. It was like, it sounds like one thing, but it's a mood of internal, a whole blissful pastime in one sense, teaching us lessons. Finally, Caitanya stopped chastising Advaita and went to sit next to the doorway. He spoke loudly. Revealing his real identity to all, he said, "O Nada, you know everything. Behold, I am the one who slew Kamsa, Shiva, Brahma, Ananta Shesh and Lakshmi Devi. Who slew Kamsa. Shiva, Brahma, Ananta Shesh and Lakshmi Devi are all constantly engaged in serving me. The impostor Vasudeva met his end, vanquished my disc. My arrow found its mark," and he goes on explaining his situation. "You know I am that person." As the Lord revealed his various pastimes, Advaita felt gradually submerged in an ocean of ecstatic bliss. Advaita was more happy to receive his due punishment in this manner, and he clapped his hands and danced in joy, feeling peace and humility within. The Lord is reciprocating with his devotees in every respect, the same in this one. So as our time has run out, we're going to jump to the last one. It's only a few liner. And then Maharaj has lots of wonderful pastimes to speak on, or whatever he wishes. Sringa Maharaj. I'll just read the end. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, has spread the holy name all over India, basically speaking, and through his followers. And he was then residing in Jagannath Puri. Advaita was also there at the time. And then Advaita sent a very strange message. As he appealed to the Lord, you've already heard that word here, he also hinted that the Lord should now depart. So he sent a message, very mysterious. No one knew what it meant. Bolake kahiha, lokahali bolo. Bolake kahiha, atina vikaya chola. Bolake kahiha, kainahika ola. Bolake kahiha, iya kahiyachi bola. You've heard of the bowls. These bowls, they're apasampadaya. But here we see the word bola mentioned maybe 8 times. What it means, madman. One madman is sending a message to another madman. There is no longer necessity for rice in the marketplace. So it is time for the shop to be closed. That's in the Caitanya Charitamrita. The previous story was in Caitanya Bhagavata. Practically no one, Prabhupada says, could understand the sonnet or the compilation. Upon reading it, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu appeared a little indifferent. Only Sri Srup Damodar could understand a little of Sri Advaita's mood. Very mysterious. No one else could understand. The sonnet indicated that one madman, Sri Advaita Acharya, who is maddened in Krishna Prema, is sending a message to another madman, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the one who made the whole world mad with Krishna Prema, the original madness. There is no longer necessity for rice. It means that Prema has been given by him to everyone, and now the task is completed. Therefore, the shop should be closed. Means your pastimes in the material world should now come to a close. In this way, Sri Advaita Acharya's pastimes are mysterious and wonderful. Sri Advaita Acharya ki jai! Go Premanandi! Hari Bol. Thank you very much.
Om Jnanatmarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa
Sindhuvyeva
sindhuvyeva
cha
patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We heard from Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj how Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of the Lord, Bhakta Avatar. Right? They described in the mantra to the Panchatattva. Panchatattva-makam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktavyam Namami Bhakta Shantikam. So in Panchatattva we have three Vishnu Tattvas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, Lord Nityananda is his expansion, and Advaita Acharya is the incarnation. So sometimes people will ask, what is the difference between an expansion and an incarnation? So you can understand the difference by what is the difference between Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is the incarnation and Lord Nityananda is the expansion of the Lord. In this way, we try to explain the difference between incarnation and expansion. So three Vishnu Tattvas there in Panchatattva. Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of the Lord. And he is coming as an Acharya. And as an Acharya we heard how he was responsible for the appearance of the Lord. And finally, at the end of the Lord's pastimes, he gave the signal to the Lord that now the time to go, now it's time to depart. So how significant his role is in the pastimes of the Lord. Very, very important personality. Srila Prabhupada used to visit Shantipur, the home of Advaita Acharya. And he has two homes. One is there near the Yoga Pit, but the main home is at Shantipur. And Srila Prabhupada would regularly go there to Shantipur, even before he took sannyas. Long before he ever went to America, he would go to Shantipur. And he would go and he would chant. He'd spend the whole day there chanting japa. The one pujari who was there revealed to the devotees how he would see this man coming. At that time, originally, Prabhupada was in white, wearing his khadi. And he saw him there the whole day chanting. And then after some time, he saw him again in saffron. And he was surprised. Oh! And he saw he'd taken sannyas. Srila Prabhupada took sannyas, and before he went to America, he again went to Shantipur to chant and to pray there, to be empowered, to go to the West, to distribute Krishna consciousness. The Brahmana who was doing the puja there in Shantipur saw how Prabhupada was there as a sannyasi, he was chanting, and at the same time he was shedding tears. He was shedding tears, and so the Brahmana approached him and asked him, "What is wrong? What's wrong, Swamiji?" And Prabhupada replied to him, he said, "You know, I have been given a mission impossible. I've been given this impossible mission, but I have to go, I have to do it, I have to try." So the Brahmana was certainly surprised to hear this from Prabhupada. He didn't know what the mission was or what he was going to do, but he was remembering all of this, and he told the devotee how later on he got a magazine, he got a Back to Godhead magazine, and he saw the picture and he remembered. He said, oh, this is the same man who used to come to Shantipur. He used to come and chant. Then he became sannyasi, and he told me he had the mission impossible. So Srila Prabhupada was coming to Shantipur, and Prabhupada was very attached to Shantipur at one point, because every year if you go to Mayapur, we will go to Shantipur. There's one day, which is on the Dwadasi, just before Gaur Purnima, a few days before Gaur Purnima, we go to Shantipur to observe the appearance day of Ishwarapuri, is it?
Madhavendra.
Madhavendra Puri, of course. Advaita Acharya is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. He got initiation from Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri had come there to Shantipur, and Advaita Acharya took initiation from him and accepted him as his spiritual master. So every year, Advaita Acharya used to put on a festival in honor of his Guru Maharaj. I think it was the appearance day or the disappearance? The disappearance, right? It's the disappearance, yeah. It's on the disappearance day of his Guru Maharaj. And the family who are living there in Shantipur today, they're descendants of Advaita Acharya. And so they had come to Mayapur and they had requested the Mayapur management under Srila Jaipataka Swami Maharaj and that can you help us, because we don't have the means, we don't have any funds. Can you help us to do something? We want to begin again this festival. And apparently it's described in, I think, Caitanya Bhagavad, how Advaita Acharya would put on this festival in honor of his Guru Maharaj. And there would be a big warehouse of leaf plates and just huge quantities of rice and dal and different things which they would have, in Bengal, bananas, of course, and whatever vegetables, sak and things. And they would cook khichdi, just as we do today. So if you go to Mayapur on the disappearance day of Madhavendra Puri, we all go to, there's many buses, and it's free as well. The devotees sponsor all the buses. So all the Bengali people, they love to go, they love it's free, And there's a benediction that if you distribute prasadam in Shantipur, or if you help cook prasadam, or if you just take prasadam on that day, you get Krishna prema. That is the blessings of Advaita Acharya. So it's a nice festival. We go there and do that, distribute prasadam. So Prabhupada was thinking at one point he would make the world headquarters of ISKCON in Shantipur. He wanted to get land, but he couldn't get land there. And so he came to Mayapur, and he was fortunate to be able to get the land in Mayapur. So Shantipur, very important place, and many pastimes took place there in Shantipur. If you go to Shantipur, there's a picture there which is a copy of the original painting done, a portrait of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes we wonder, I wonder what Lord Caitanya actually looked like. Because we see artists' paintings and so on, but I wonder what he actually looked like. So in the times of Maharaj Prataparudra, he commissioned an artist to do a portrait of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And a copy of that portrait is there in Shantipur, and you can see what Caitanya Mahaprabhu looked like in the artist's portrait. It's very nice. So Lord Caitanya would come there regularly to Shantipur. Jamnanda Maharaj described how he came one time to beat him because Advaita Acharya had been preaching Yoga Vasishta. He wanted to make Caitanya Mahaprabhu angry with him, so he was preaching Yoga Vasishta. And Yoga Vasishta preaches the glory of liberation. The goal of life is to get moksha. Right? You should all want to get moksha. Don't worry about bhakti, just get moksha. So Advaita Acharya was preaching like that, and Lord Caitanya was very angry with him, came and beat him. Another time, Lord Caitanya came there to Shantipur. It was when he took sannyas. Lord Nityananda had gone there with him to, he took sannyas at Katwa. You go to Katwa. Katwa is north of Mayapur. You go to Katwa, where Caitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. The ashram of Keshava Bharati Maharaj was there in Katwa. So Caitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas in Katwa, and the samadhi of Mahaprabhu's hair is there. There's a samadhi for his hair in Katwa at that place. And after Lord Caitanya took sannyas, he was in ecstasy. He wanted to go to Vrindavan. And Caitanya Mahaprabhu played a trick on him. Just as we heard, Advaita Acharya was an unusual personality, and so was Lord Nityananda. So Lord Nityananda kind of tricked Lord Caitanya, that when they saw the Ganga, Lord Nityananda said, yes, the Yamuna. And so Caitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. He thought it was the Yamuna. But then Advaita Acharya came by on a boat, and Lord Caitanya was surprised. He said, hey, just a minute. What are you doing here in Vrindavan, Advaita Acharya? And then they revealed to Lord Caitanya that actually, this is the Ganga. But anyway, this side of the Yamuna, this side of the Ganga, this is from the Yamuna. So actually it's the Yamuna, The Yamuna joins onto the Ganga, and on this side of the Ganga, this is where the Yamuna comes in. So I wasn't lying to you, I wasn't cheating you, it was actually the Yamuna. Anyway, they brought Lord Caitanya to Shantipur. He'd just taken sannyas. And after taking his sannyas, they brought him to Shantipur. And they had a festival, and they sent devotees, go back to Mayapur, bring Mother Sachi. They didn't bring Vishnu Priya. You can't meet the wife, but you can meet the mother. The mother came, right? The mother came from Mayapur with all the devotees, and many devotees came, and they had a big festival in Shantipur, a lot of kirtan, and Mother Sachi was cooking for Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mother Sachi was able to feel satisfied. Although she was broken-hearted to see her son as a sannyasi, she was pacified when she was able to cook for him. And she did. And Lord Caitanya always relished Mother Sachi's cooking. So much so that every day Lord Caitanya will accept the offerings in the home of Mother Sachi. So when they were there in Shantipur, Advaita Acharya would do the offering, and he put down 3 plates, and they had 3 big banana leaves, and they covered it with so many preparations and mountains of rice. Bengalis, when they eat, they can eat rice, If there's no rice, what? Or why are we fasting, So when they make offering, they have a mountain of rice, and then also so many nice sabjis, vegetables, green leafy vegetables are plenty there in Bengal. And Lord Caitanya came to Advaita Acharya's house, and Advaita said, I will cook lunch for you, I want to cook food for you. Lord Caitanya said, yeah, just give me a little rice and some sak. Lord Caitanya was very fond of sak, the vegetable, green leafy vegetable. He said, but just give me, keep it simple, a little rice and some sak, I'll be happy. Advaita, no problem, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. So they made this big offering, 3 big plates, and then after the offering, then he invited Lord Caitanya, this is your seat. And Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, just a minute, I'm a sannyasi, I can't eat like this. Advaita Acharya said, oh, please, you've come to my home. Please, please, you have to eat. Please, don't do this to me. I know who you are. I know you eat 64 offerings every day in Jagannath Puri. How you can refuse? This is just a tiny morsel of food for you. In this way, Advaita Acharya would implore Lord Caitanya to take the foodstuffs which they had prepared. And as Lord Caitanya would eat, they would put more on the plate. And Lord Caitanya would, oh no, come on. You know, he would eat, and then every time he'd take some, they'd fill it up again. Anyway, that place, it's there in Shantipur. They've made it a special shrine where Lord Nityananda and Lord Caitanya and Advaita Acharya, where they sat and took their prasadam. It's a very special place. And of course, there were joking words at that time also. Lord Nityananda, you know, they gave the huge feast, and Lord Nityananda complained that, you know, I've been fasting for 3 days to come here, and now my hunger is not being satisfied. This is not even a morsel of foodstuff for me. And Advaita Acharya would protest, please, I'm just a poor brahmana, please just accept what I offer to you. In this way, there was always joking words between Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya would say, we do not know your identity. Lord Nityananda is Avadut, right? You don't know, is he a sannyasi, is he a brahmachari, what is he, where is he from? We don't know your identity. Advaita Acharya was the head of the Brahmana community. All of the Brahmanas, he was the head of all of them. They all listened to him. So he was a very important person in the society. Today, of course, you know, with the Brahmanas, it's the scientists who are in the position of the Brahmanas. The scientists and the technologists, because everyone's controlled by technology today. But in the times of Mahaprabhu, there were still some remnants of Vedic culture. And Advaita Acharya was a Brahmana, and he was the head of the Brahmana. So he was very respected. And he had Haridas Thakur coming there also. And Haridas Thakur was very intimately associated. In Shantipur today even they have a place there for Haridas Thakur, and they describe him as being the disciple of Advaita Acharya. But actually, Haridas Thakur never ever took initiation from anyone. But he was always there, but he was there a lot with Advaita Acharya. So Advaita Acharya had another interesting pastime, which I wanted to tell because it's a nice one. It tells how Advaita Acharya was also preaching in Shantipur. And at one point, Lord Chaitanya's older brother, Vishwarup, was coming there. He would go every day because the home is nearby. And Vishwarup would go and sit and listen to Advaita Acharya preaching. So at one point, Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra decided it's time to get our eldest son married. They wanted to arrange the marriage for Vishwarup. So when Vishwarup understood that his parents were going to arrange his marriage, then he disappeared. He left home. And eventually they got the news that he'd taken sannyas. And taking sannyas means he's not going to be coming home again. So they were quite disappointed. It was heartbreaking. Oh, our poor son has gone off, he's taken sannyas. So after some time, Caitanya Mahaprabhu performed pastimes where he was giving mercy to all the devotees. He was sitting on the throne, the altar of Lord Vishnu, and he would call different devotees and he would give them mercy, give blessings. So then the devotees said, what about Mother Sachi? You should give blessings for Mother Sachi. But Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I will never give blessings for Mother Sachi. The devotees went, what? Your own mother? The Divine Mother, you're not going to give any blessings to her? And Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, she is an offender of devotees. I cannot give any blessings to someone who has committed Vaishnava aparadha. So Caitanya Mahaprabhu, when he wanted to stress to all of his devotees the importance of not committing any offense against anyone. And he felt that his mother had been offensive to Advaita Acharya. Not physically, not verbally, but mentally. That within her mind she was thinking, my son Vishwarup went to the home of Advaita Acharya every day. And when I was going to get him married, he left home. It must have been the influence of Advaita Acharya. He was preaching from the Shastra. He's preaching. What is the use of this material world? It is all temporary. We're all going to die one day, sooner or later. What is the point of going into family life? The family life, it is just the andakupam, it is a blind well. So Mother Sachi was thinking that Advaita Acharya has certainly influenced the thinking of my son. And therefore, he's gone away from home and taken sannyas. And Lord Caitanya wanted to correct this. And he told the devotees, Mother Sachi is the offender of devotees. I will not give her blessings. So the devotees all went to Mother Sachi and they brought her. And they brought Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya is saying, no, 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 Mother Sachi, she could never offend me. How is it? She is the Divine Mother. She is the mother of our Lord Mahaprabhu. How could she ever commit an offense against me? I cannot, no. And they were bringing Advaita Acharya. By force they were bringing him. He did not want to, but Mother Sachi came and by force, Advaita Acharya became so overwhelmed in the thought that at one point he fainted. And when he fainted, they told Mother Sachi, quick, now go, touch his feet, take the dust from his feet, and get forgiveness for your offense. So in this way, Mother Sachi was relieved for committing any offense against Advaita Acharya. And Mahaprabhu was satisfied that Mother Sachi has atoned for her little tinge of offense which she may have committed. So like this, Advaita Acharya performed many wonderful pastimes. Are we on time?
Another 4 minutes.
Huh?
Another 4 minutes.
Oh, 4 minutes?
Depends when they open the curtain, really.
Yeah, right. But that's why I'm asking, are they on time? Are we on time? Is gone standard? You ready to open 4 minutes? Or we'll stop now or we'll talk for 4 minutes?
You want to speak? You can speak another 5 minutes.
Yeah? Well, just one thing I was going to say was about the Advaita Acharya's sons. We heard how he had 6 sons. I don't know if they were daughters or not. I only saw the sons. There were 6 sons. 3 were devotees and 3 were not devotees. So we will wonder, how is it possible? Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of God. He's the Bhakti Acharya. He's preaching devotion. How is it possible 3 of his sons were not devotees? Well, one possible explanation which I heard was that because Advaita Acharya was preaching Yoga Vasishta, at one point he took up the preaching of the Yoga Vasishta, which stresses the importance of liberation. When he wanted to anger Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he was preaching this Yoga Vasishta, which emphasizes that liberation is the goal. And that's not our philosophy. That's impersonal or Mayavadi philosophy. So Advaita Acharya at one point was preaching that. So that some of the sons, they accepted that. They thought this is actually the right, that this is the way. So that's one explanation. Another explanation is, of course, they're Brahmanas by birth, and they're we say Jati Brahmins, Brahmana by birth, not by guna and karma, but by birth. And they didn't embrace the Vaishnava philosophy, which Advaita Acharya was propagating, which was the actual message of Advaita Acharya, the teachings of Mahaprabhu, Vaishnava philosophy. And Brahmana is not by birth, but by guna and karma. So of the 6 sons, Advaita Achyutananda was the most famous, the very wonderful son. Even when he was a little child of just a few years old, he heard that Caitanya Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas initiation. And he did not like it. And he told everyone. He was only a little boy, only a few years old. And he was saying, Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. How can anyone be his spiritual master? So all the devotees, when they heard Achyutananda speak like this, they were very pleased. They thought, oh, what a nice child. He understood fully the position of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was expressing his surprise, how anyone can become the guru of the Supreme Lord. He is the guru of everyone. So Achyutananda was very prominent also at Rapiyatras, in the Kirtan. He would be one of the main dancers. Another one of the sons of Advaita Acharya was Gopal. And at one point, when they were cleaning the Gundicha temple, there's a pastime how Lord Caitanya ordered Gopal to dance. He said, Gopal, dance! So Gopal began dancing, but he danced and suddenly he fainted. He just fell down unconscious. And all the devotees, they naturally rushed, they came around and they were chanting mantras and they could not even perceive any consciousness. They thought he'd departed from the body. And they were all chanting prayers to Lord Nrsingadev and everything. And then Caitanya Mahaprabhu personally came and put his hand on his chest and said, Gopal, get up and dance. And Gopal got up again and began to dance. Everyone cheered. So this was some of the pastimes of the sons of Advaita Acharya. 3 were caste. They were smarter Brahmins. They did not embrace the Vaishnava philosophy. But 3, they were loyal to the tree. The other 3 sons here described as asara. Asara meaning useless, because they gave up the Vaishnava philosophy. They did not follow their father. Unfortunate souls. Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki.
Hare Krishna, on behalf of the Temple Management Council, we'd like to thank His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami, His Holiness Dhanananda Goswami, His Holiness Bhakti Narasimha Sri Maharaj for the wonderful discourse on the appearance day of Lord Advaita Acharya. Haribo, Srila Prabhupada ki. And now we're going to have the arti. Can you all roll the mats?